They almost gave him back the week before this happened. He was, in their words, simply too much dog for a toddler. Renata Vasquez had adopted Duke, a 140-pound brindle Mastiff, 4 months before her daughter Isla turned 2. Renata's mother, Ophelia, had moved in to help with childcare and made her opinion clear from day one: a dog that size didn't belong in a house with a small child, no matter how gentle he seemed on paper. For weeks, Duke did nothing to prove her wrong or right. He simply existed, calm, slow-moving, mostly asleep by the radiator. Then, on a Thursday evening in early November, he stopped sleeping. It started small. Duke began pacing the hallway outside the utility room every evening around 6, sitting directly in front of the door that led to the basement furnace, and refusing to move even for dinner. Ophelia called it obsessive. Renata, exhausted and outnumbered 2-1 on the opinion, started to agree. The second night, Isla toddled toward that same hallway, and Duke rose fast, faster than a dog his size should move, and planted himself squarely in her path. Isla shrieked in protest. Ophelia scooped her up immediately. "This is exactly what I was worried about," she said. "He's becoming territorial. With a toddler in the house, we cannot take that risk." Renata didn't argue. She'd read enough forum threads about large breed guarding behavior to believe it. That weekend, Duke's bed was moved to the garage, just until we figure out what's going on with him. He didn't bark. He didn't whine. He simply sat by the connecting door and stared at it, for hours at a time, the way you'd watch something you were afraid to look away from. 3 nights later, at 1:40 a.m., the smoke detector never went off. The batteries, unknown to anyone, had been dead for weeks. What went off instead was Duke throwing his full weight against the garage door hard enough to crack the frame. If you've ever had a pet try to tell you something you weren't ready to hear yet, you're going to want to see how this one ends. Subscribe for more. Renata woke to the sound of splintering wood, not barking. By the time she reached the hallway, the air already had a faint metallic edge to it. Duke pushed past her, ran straight to the furnace room door, and refused to let her open it, blocking it with his body, pressing her back toward the stairs instead. The fire department found a cracked heat exchanger flooding the lower floor with carbon monoxide. Concentrations already high enough to cause disorientation within another 20 to 30 minutes of continued exposure. Exactly the amount of time everyone in that house had left to sleep undisturbed. Another half hour, and this is a very different phone call, the responding paramedic told her on the porch, still holding the CO reader that had maxed out near the basement door. Has an animal in your life ever done something you couldn't explain until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments below. We read every one. It came apart fast after that. The pacing by the furnace door, not obsession, but a dog standing watch over a leak building in the walls for days. The block at the hallway, not guarding, but keeping a toddler away from air that was already going wrong. The thrown weight against a garage door at 1:40 a.m., the only alarm in that house that hadn't failed. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Ophelia found Duke on the porch 2 mornings later, sitting in the exact spot he used to sleep before any of it started. She didn't say sorry out loud. She sat down next to him on the cold concrete, and he leaned the full weight of his head into her shoulder, and neither of them moved for a long time.